Welcome back, everybody. Today we're taking a deep dive into something a little different, you and numerology. Specifically, we're going to explore what it means to be born on the 20th, the 20th of any month.
Right.
So you shared a document about this with me.
Yeah.
And I have to say, some of these insights are really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're surprisingly specific, right?
Yeah, they are.
It's not just like the typical vague numerology stuff we see out there.
Oh, definitely not. This goes way deeper.
Oh, okay.
It does.
So now I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I've always been fascinated by self-discovery, especially when it's connected to something like my birth date.
Right.
It just feels kind of fundamental,
Absolutely.
So, okay, tell me. What does this document actually say about being a 20ther?
All right. So first, it highlights a bunch of positive traits.
Okay.
Like conscientiousness, friendliness, compassion. It really is like this whole laundry list of good qualities.
So if I'm looking for a really reliable friend who's also like a total sweetheart,
Yeah.
I should seek out people born on the 20th.
Maybe. But really, it paints a picture of someone who's not only like responsible and detail-oriented, but also really warm and empathetic.
Okay.
It even mentions diplomacy as like a key trait.
Ooh, diplomacy.
So maybe those born on the 20th are just naturally good at navigating tricky situations.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good peacemaker. Right.
Right. Everybody does.
Does the document say anything about how these traits actually play out
Yes.
in somebody's life?
It does.
I'm just curious because, to be honest, sometimes these descriptions can feel a little too general.
Very general, very vague. Yeah.
Just kind of like, oh, you're a good person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, what does that even mean?
Right.
Right.
So this document gets into that.
Okay, good.
It suggests that these traits often show up as really strong communication skills, especially in fields like sales, law, or even luxury goods.
Hold on, luxury goods.
I know, right?
What?
It's a strange connection.
That's a really interesting connection.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming either.
Okay.
But if you think about it,
Yeah.
there's an element of diplomacy there, right?
Yeah.
And persuasion
Right.
involved in those fields.
Right.
And you also have to have a natural inclination towards like beauty and harmony, which the document also mentions might make someone gravitate towards those types of products.
I mean, I gotta say, I've always been drawn to like aesthetically pleasing things.
Say,
So maybe there's something to that.
there you go. It also suggests those born on the 20th tend to give good advice.
Oh.
Maybe because of their insightfulness and compassion. So they might be natural therapists or artists.
Interesting. Writers,
Lots of different possibilities.
Yeah, so many possibilities.
Was it? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We're charming diplomats.
With an knack for luxury. And we're also creative advice givers.
It seems like it.
I mean, sign me up.
Yeah, right.
But let's be real. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
So there have to be some
Of course.
challenges that come along with being a 20th, right?
Absolutely. So what are those?
The document doesn't shy away from that at all.
Okay, good.
It's mentioned some of those challenges.
All right.
One of the bigger ones is high sensitivity.
High sensitivity.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Okay, all right.
I know a few people who are really sensitive.
Yeah.
And it's like a roller coaster.
Oh, it is.
You
can be.
up and down, up and down.
Exactly.
So what does the document say about that?
It describes it as a tendency to like absorb other people's emotions.
Oh.
Like a sponge.
Oh, wow.
So while you might be really attuned to the people around you, it can be very overwhelming and lead to mood swings or even anxiety.
I can see how that would be a double-edged sword.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You feel everything.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it can be a little too much.
Absolutely.
Right.
It goes on to say that this might even make some people born in the 20th more prone to depression if they're not careful.
That makes sense.
So it really emphasizes self-care
Okay.
and having strong boundaries.
That's a really important point.
It is.
And I think it's something that a lot of us forget. It's easy to forget.
It is.
Especially if you are naturally empathetic.
Right, especially then, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That you need to protect your own energy.
Exactly.
Okay, so high sensitivity is one of the challenges.
Right.
Anything else?
A couple other things.
Okay.
A tendency towards overthinking
Oh, yeah.
and being easily influenced by others.
Oh, overthinking. That's
I know, right?
all the way.
A lot of people struggle with that.
So what does the document say about dealing with those things?
Well, it frames them as areas for growth. rather than just like negatives, you know?
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it suggests that by being aware of these tendencies, those born on the 20th can actually kind of use them to their advantage.
I like that.
So like overthinking can lead to really detailed and thoughtful work.
That's true.
And being easily influenced can make you really collaborative. And willing to see different perspectives.
Okay, so it's all about perspective.
Exactly.
And channeling it the right way.
Yeah. Right, okay.
So the document emphasizes that the key to navigating these challenges is building self-confidence.
Okay.
And finding something bigger than yourself to devote your energy to.
Oh, now that's powerful.
Right.
That sounds like a recipe for a really fulfilling life.
Yeah.
But okay, before we go too far down that road, I'm curious about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
What does the number 20 itself represent in numerology?
So it's considered the number of the visionary. People with this number are often described as having a very unique perspective on the world and this deep desire to make a positive impact. They might be naturally drawn to leadership roles, innovation, or even humanitarian work.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wait, so if I'm always questioning things and like coming up with new ideas, that's not just me being difficult. It's like my numerological destiny.
Maybe it is. You never know.
Okay.
But jokes aside, it really suggests that this visionary energy is a powerful force, you know? And it can be used to create some really positive change in the world. It even mentions a potential for artistic expression. And a connection to higher realms of consciousness.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right.
All right, well, we've covered some pretty fascinating stuff.
We have already.
We have from personality traits to like potential career paths and even...
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. It is.
But I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of this numerology stuff.
I think you're right.
So what else is there?
There's still a lot to unpack, including some pretty mind-blowing insights about some of the more mystical aspects of being born on the 20th.
Okay, mystical secrets.
Mystical secrets.
All right, you've got my attention. I'm ready.
Good.
Okay, so those mystical secrets you mentioned.
All right, well, get ready for this, because the first thing that jumped out at me was the concept of karmic debt.
Karmic debt.
Karmic debt.
Okay, I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure what it means.
Yeah, it's one of those things that people throw around.
Right. I
had to reread this section a few times myself, actually. It's definitely one of the more complex concepts in here. But essentially, it suggests that people born on the 20th might carry a sense of responsibility or guilt from past actions. And some interpretations even say it could be from a past life.
Whoa. Okay, past lives.
I know, right?
We're going a little deep here.
It is getting pretty deep.
I'm not sure I'm ready to go down that rabbit hole just yet.
Yeah, it's definitely getting into some esoteric territory. But the document doesn't necessarily present it as like a literal belief. It's more about acknowledging that those born on the 20th might just have this innate sense of duty. Like they need to make things right in the world.
I mean, to be honest, I've always felt drawn to causes that align with my values. Like I can't help but want to contribute to something bigger myself.
That's exactly what it's talking about.
Really?
Like, like maybe this feeling is connected to that karmic debt concept. Like this underlying sense that there's something you're meant to do to like balance the scales.
Interesting. Okay, I can see how that would be a powerful motivator.
It really can be.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so karmic debt, what else?
Well, it also mentions that those born on the 20th often have strong intuitive abilities.
Hey, hold on. Intuition. Like gut feeling.
Gut feelings.
Yeah, things like that.
Exactly. Have you ever had a strong sense about something?
Oh, yeah.
Even without any logical reasoning, and it turned out to be right?
All the time.
There you go.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I practically live by my intuition.
Maybe that's a 20th thing. Yeah, according to this document, it's possible.
Interesting.
It says those born on the 20th have this natural connection to their inner voice. And it suggests they might even have psychic abilities. Or precognitive dreams.
Okay, this is getting pretty mind-blowing.
It is pretty wild, right?
But also, it kind of makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like if people born on the 20th are so sensitive to other people's emotions, maybe they're also picking up on these subtler energies that most people aren't aware of.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It actually aligns with another point the document makes about a unique talent for creativity.
We did later to talk about creativity.
We did, yeah.
So is this different?
Think of it as like a deeper well of creative potential. Oh. It suggests that those born on the 20th aren't only naturally creative in like the traditional sense, but they also have this kind of innovative, out-of-the-box thinking where they see things differently and come up with original ideas.
I'm starting to see the connections here.
Yeah.
Like maybe the sensitivity and the karmic debt and the intuition all kind of feed into this incredible creative potential.
I think so too.
It's like they're all intertwined.
They are all connected to create this unique energy.
Right.
That sets 20thers apart.
Okay, so we've got diplomacy, compassion, sensitivity, a strong sense of purpose, intuitive abilities, and this knack for creativity.
Quite a combination, isn't it?
It is quite a combination.
Yeah.
But wait.
Yeah.
The document doesn't stop there.
It keeps going.
Does it mention anything about?
It also delves into some of the more challenging aspects of being born on the 20th.
All right, like what?
A tendency towards rebellion.
Oh, rebellion.
And emotional turbulence.
Rebellion.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been one to follow the rules. So maybe there's something to that.
Maybe so.
What does it say about rebellion?
It says those born on the 20th often have a strong sense of justice and fairness, and they might not be afraid to challenge authority or speak up against injustice.
Right.
So sometimes that comes across as rebellion or like a refusal to conform.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like that visionary energy.
Yeah.
They're not content with the status quo.
Oh.
And they want to see things change for the better, even if it means going against the grain.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that actually ties into the emotional turbulence aspect, too.
Okay, how so?
It suggests that those born on the 20th might experience these really intense emotions.
Okay.
And a tendency towards mood swings.
Right.
Maybe because of their sensitivity and the weight of their karmic debt, you know?
So it's not just about being a rebel.
All right.
It's about feeling things deeply.
Yeah, feeling things deeply and passionately.
Yeah, and that can lead to some ups and downs.
It definitely can.
Right.
But the document emphasizes that this emotional intensity, while challenging sometimes, can also be a source of great creativity and inspiration.
Interesting.
So it's about finding healthy ways to channel that energy and express it.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, this is like a giant puzzle.
It is, kind of.
Right. Yeah. And each piece we uncover reveals a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Of what it means to be born on the 20th.
It's a fascinating journey of self-discovery.
Right. And the document doesn't claim to have all the answers.
No, not at all.
But it's definitely giving us some...
Just giving clues.
And clues.
Yeah.
To help us better understand ourselves, and I appreciate that.
Good.
So, okay, we've covered a lot. From personality traits to these potential challenges, karmic debt, even psychic abilities.
It's a lot to process.
It is. It is. But I have one more question.
Okay.
Does the document mention any famous people?
It does.
Who were born on the 20th?
Yeah, it has a whole section on that.
Okay, I'm curious.
All right, so it mentions Robert De Niro.
Oh, wow, okay.
Isaac Hayes, and even Ben Affleck.
Okay, that's a pretty diverse group of people.
It is very diverse.
What do you think they might have in common?
Well, if we look at their careers and accomplishments, it seems like they all embody that visionary energy.
It's interesting.
We were talking about. They've all achieved success, but they've also pushed boundaries, challenged conventions, you know, and made their mark on the world.
It's like a pattern here.
Yeah. And don't forget the creativity aspect.
That's true, yeah.
They've all expressed themselves through their art.
Right.
Whether it's acting, music, directing.
Right, they've all tapped into that
yeah.
well of creative potential.
Exactly.
You know?
It's amazing.
I'm starting to think that being born on the 20th, it's like being given a special set of tools and a map to a hidden treasure chest.
I love that analogy.
You know?
Yeah.
We just have to learn how to use those tools and follow the map
Exactly.
to uncover our full potential.
That's what it's all about.
Right.
It's not about being confined by these traits.
Right.
But using them to grow and discover yourself.
So what if we take a moment to apply this to the listener?
Okay, yeah.
We've been talking about these characteristics in general.
Right.
But how might they show up in their life?
Yeah, think about the traits. Conscientiousness, friendliness, compassion, diplomacy, imagination, creativity, insightfulness, strong communication.
Yeah.
Do any of them stand out to you?
Yeah.
You know, as a listener.
Do you see these traits in your own life?
Yeah.
In your relationships, your career?
Your choices.
Maybe you've always felt drawn to creative things. Or maybe you're super sensitive to other people's emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe you've even had experiences that hint at your intuition.
Yeah.
Or a sense of purpose.
That karmic purpose, yeah.
This is where the magic happens.
I think so too.
When we start to connect the dots between these numerological insights and our own journeys.
Our own unique journeys.
Yeah, it's not about fitting into some predefined box.
Right.
It's about using this knowledge to understand ourselves better.
Exactly, for self-understanding and growth.
So if you're listening to this and
Yeah.
you're thinking, wow, this makes a lot of sense, that's a good sign.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
It means you're starting to see yourself in a new light.
And that's the first step towards embracing your potential.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we've got more to uncover.
We do.
So let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and explore some practical tips
Okay.
for navigating these challenges and these opportunities that come with being born on the 20th.
Because it's one thing to know your strengths.
Right.
But it's another thing to know how to use them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back and I'm feeling pretty inspired by all this.
Yeah.
Talk about the 20th or personality, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
But let's get practical for a minute.
Okay.
How do we actually use all this numerology stuff?
Right. Because it's one thing to recognize the traits.
Right.
But how do we make it work for us in real life?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say someone's listening to this and they're feeling kind of overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're really sensitive or they overthink a lot.
Yeah.
Or they feel that strong pull to make a difference, you know?
Right, right.
Where do they even start?
I think the first step is to stop thinking of these traits as good or bad.
Okay.
And start seeing them as tools instead.
I like that.
Each one has the potential to be really powerful.
Okay.
If you know how to use it.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Okay.
Let's say someone's really sensitive.
Yeah.
What's the first tool they should reach for?
Boundaries.
Boundaries, okay.
The document even mentions this.
Okay.
Creating a sacred space for yourself.
Okay, I'm all about sacred spaces, but how does that look in everyday life?
It could be as simple as just taking some time for yourself each day,
Oh.
like for quiet reflection, or maybe it's learning to say no when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Okay.
You know.
It's about recognizing when you need to recharge.
Yeah.
And actually honoring that.
Absolutely.
Like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Right.
And speaking of overthinking,
Yeah, let's talk about that.
that's another tool that needs to be handled carefully.
Okay.
It can be a gift if you're working on something complex,
Okay.
you know, that needs a lot of attention to detail.
Right, right.
But it can also be a vicious cycle of worry
Oh,
if you let it.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any tips for dealing with that?
Mindfulness practices can be really helpful. Even just a few minutes of meditation can make you more aware of your thoughts without getting carried away.
Right, right.
The document also mentions journaling
Oh,
to process those thoughts.
get them out of your head.
Exactly.
Okay, so boundaries for sensitivity,
Yeah.
mindfulness for overthinking. What about that pull to make a difference?
Right. Well, the document emphasizes that this karmic debt thing isn't about punishment. It's about finding ways to contribute.
Yeah.
Like maybe explore careers or volunteer work that align with your values.
And it doesn't have to be this huge grand gesture.
Right.
Right.
Small acts of kindness count too.
Exactly. Even just being a more present friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And don't forget those intuitive nudges.
Yeah. Those are important.
If you feel drawn to something,
yeah.
that might be your intuition guiding you.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about a lot.
We have.
But I want to touch on creativity one more time.
Okay.
Because that seems to be a big one for people born on the 20th.
It is. It's like a huge well of potential.
So how do we get that creative juice flowing?
The document emphasizes self-expression.
Okay.
So I think the first step is giving yourself permission to be creative.
That's so important.
It is.
Because so many people are afraid to be creative.
They are. They're afraid of not being good enough.
Right, but it's not about perfection.
It's not.
It's about expression.
Exactly.
Right.
And it can be simple things like doodling, writing a poem, even finding a creative solution at work.
Yeah, just finding something that makes you feel alive.
Exactly, something that energizes you.
Yeah, I love that.
And don't forget about those higher realms of consciousness.
Oh, right, right.
Maybe try meditation or dream work.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So we've talked about boundaries, mindfulness, purpose, creativity.
It's quite the toolkit.
It is. It's a pretty awesome tooltip.
It is.
And remember, this deep dive has just been a glimpse.
Yeah, into this whole world.
Into numerology. So it's sparked some questions and some insights.
Right.
Hopefully. But it's really up to you
to
decide what resonates with you.
It feels true for you.
And how you want to apply it to your life.
Exactly. This document might be for anyone born on the 20th, but the way it shows up for you is unique.
It's uniquely you.
Yes, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive.
We have.
Into the world of the 20th-er.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you learned some things about yourself.
Yeah, and maybe discovered some hidden depths.
Oh, absolutely.
You didn't know you had.
Remember, this is just the beginning.
The real adventure starts now.
The real adventure is how you use all this.
How you embrace your own path.
To make your mark on the world.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep shining bright.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive. So stay tuned.